PR, though, let's move it straight into our first matchup. Team Queso versus Rise. This one, to me, is very interesting as Team Queso has continued to improve, continued to show up and show out, continued to be that team that really, to me, is carrying the banner for all amateur teams and challengers. They said, look, we made it to Pro League. We improved every single week last split, and we have continued to do so because if you look last time, they didn't have an Ice Cube's chance in hell in most of their matches. Now they come out here and they're giving everybody the shimmy shakes. They're making knees clink together like it's a 3-foot putt on 18 to win $1 million, my man.
Yep, like I said, these new teams, man, you just get a little bit of experience under your belt. You get those reps, and look, anything can happen. On the flip side of things, I honestly feel like when I'm betting on Rise, when I'm predicting Rise, I'm playing roulette. I look at that board, I see Red was hit 4 times in a row. I'm like, there's no way Red can hit again. Let me bet on Rise, seeing if Black can make me some money here. And guess what? It hits Red again. And guess what I do next week after that? There's no way it's going to hit Red again. And I bet on Rise. I'm wondering when am I going to go broke on Rise? Because they definitely have some work to do. They're superstar players. Their history can really speak for themselves, but it's just unfortunate week after week, time and time again, when the pressure is on, they're just unable to pick up that big W.
Well, we got a player to watch in this matchup as well. I called him out last week, and last time I got to cast over this team, he made me look like a genius. So we're putting him out there in front of God and everybody saying, show up and show out for us. It is the one and the only Scavzy. And I think the thing that stands out to me that's most important to me is how good he is at helping his team continue to win these gunfights. Up over 65% of every engagement, he's helping a teammate or is in a teammate with a fight. They are coming out on top. At 2.05 KDA is nothing to slouch at, nothing to scoff at. He is one of those players that is continuously doing everything he can to put his teammates and himself in the best position to win.
I agree with you 100%. And that's one of the main stats that I do look at. Obviously, we talk week after week that the stats don't really tell the full picture, the full story. But I think KDA is a good statistic because it also adds in those assists. Because we know sometimes a kill isn't necessarily cleaned up. It's not accredited to anybody. But you can see when a kill is cleaned up, who's doing the damage, who's helping the players out. And with a great KDA, you can kind of see where they kind of have a solid head on their shoulders. They're aware of what's going on around them. And Scavzy is a perfect example of that. And honestly, Colin, I think you hit the nail on the head on this team as a whole. They're holding that flag. They're leading the pack. They're almost an inspiration to a lot of these challenger and amateur teams that are trying to fight for themselves. But you know what? I love to see the picks and bans before I really make a prediction. I think teams, they excel on some maps while they fall behind on others. But the picks and bans are in Exhibit, Foundation, and Harbor. What is these maps screaming out to you?
I actually really love this map selection for Rise, and one of the reasons for that is even though Team Queso picks Exhibit, and I know you watch this as closely as I do, when you have guys like a Kenny, like an Inzem, like a Franchis who can control the top side of Exhibit and play cat and mouse, maybe add some damage, add some pressure to that top side, threaten that OE onto the opponent's home hill, that to me helps control this map so tenfold it's not even funny. With the way that Franchis has been able to play that 1v1 up spot up top like he has in the past, that is going to be the point of contention for me. Whoever Team Queso sends up there is going to have their hands full, and if they can't handle the pressure from that veteran, that all-time great that is Franchis, Team Queso could find themselves very well going into a map 2 down 0-1, losing their own map pick.
Yep, and I'm interested to see how both of these teams will end up and how they will end up playing onto Foundation, because we've seen teams like E United, the Pittsburgh Knights, Fire Knights, how they like to start off and they like to really fight for the aggression in towards the middle ground. I'm interested to see how these two teams, not necessarily towards the top of the ranks, are going to plan, how they're going to attack, because we've seen what happens when a team or players and individuals take too long to make those moves. The pressure gets to them. The timing ticks up too far to where it boils down to one final push, where a lot of errors could be made. And in Team Queso, a team that's really rising to the top, becoming, like we talked about, that team to where you can really set as an example for these challenger teams. I want to see them be the aggressive team. I want to see them go ahead and answer first. But Rise, we know they're full of strategy. We know they have tricks up their sleeves. Will they let it slip through, especially on a map as old as Foundation?
Especially with how many reps certain players on that team have on a map like Foundation, under a lot of pressure. That is going to be fantastic. Let's move straight into our predictions, though. And I mean, we have done a lot of pumping up. We have done a lot of putting onto a pedestal the team of Team Cheese, the team of Team Queso. They are going up onto the pedestal looking like a statue. They've been bronzed up. They've been polished off. And I'm just going to reach over and I'm just going to give the old shove off that thing because I'm going to Rise, baby. I know you said you're waiting to go broke on him, but when you got a team led by a guy like Franchis, and of course, I will never, ever give up on a guy like Icy, Mr. Nicholas Cope, my boy, my man. I have just got to believe that they are going to come out with this. Avexys and Rushiez, what they got to do is just their job. I almost look at Rise like the Patriots. When you've got two of those classy veterans leading the way, leading the charge in Franchis and Icy, Rushiez and Avexys, do your job, baby. Get the kills, get the cleanups, make life easier for those two vets, for them to be able to make those play calls, for them to strategize around the map, showcase and show out, and come away with a victory here over Team Queso.
And yeah, you really set the tone there with those predictions. Much like you, when I eat too much cheese, I don't like it anymore. I want to put it away. I want to put it to the side. We'll see how I'm feeling next time. I just can't handle too much. And all my predictions have been to Team Queso lately. And just like you said, how many times is it going to hit red before we switch on over? I'm going to go ahead and put 50 onto Rise today. Channel points, that is. I think finally they're going to make me look like a genius. And if not, honestly, it's almost a win-win because Rise, you guys are having to control your own destiny. Right now, it's put up or shut up. You're facing relegation. You can almost smell Noble right down there, especially with that big loss yesterday. It's now or never for Rise. And that's one of the main reasons why I think these veterans, these superstars, will come out on top.
And I mean, if they aren't smelling Noble in relegation, they better be smelling some big stinky cheese because they're about to get run over by something that might not smell too good, but goes great with a very tasty aged red wine. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there for everybody in the chat. While we wait for that final prediction to come in from the chat, who do they pick, Queso or Rise? Your voices have been heard. All three of us are letting it ride on Rise, and this is not good for us, baby. I think this is a bad time. I'm saying it. Every time we're all together on the same thing, I just always assume I'm wrong. I immediately assume I have lost already. Plus, Taylor went with Queso, so if he wins this and all three of us lose, he's just building that lead. He's building it. And you could just sense Taylor just wringing his hands over this. He's like, yes, choose against me. I will come away in first place with cast predictions. But for right now, Hell, Cellz, Scavzy, and Yachty versus Icy, Avexys, Franchis, and Rushiez. It's going to be Rise versus Team Queso on exhibit. Everybody rolling out of spawn, and already you can see a little difference in the way these teams have decided to play this. Rushiez with some beautiful snub, but he's not going to have any help early. It's going to be Avexys having to rotate over, get that revive off, and the way Pell has controlled this hallway has just allowed him to pressure up beautifully. Back A's out. Rushiez puts himself in harm's way and gets cleaned up early. He's going to have ice broken on him. Scavzy, though, will be answered back and taken down by Icy. Franchis trying to go for the Mr. Krabs play. He's got to worry about the up A and the back A maybe. Sees that misroll come out in a one-shot chunk. Now he's going to get his health back, but he's going to be 2v1 here very momentarily. How long will Fran be able to stay alive before getting shot on and taken out? And it won't be very long.
That whole fight, I'm looking at the minimap saying they gotta take out Cellz, and Cellz gets a double kill. This man was in my chat yesterday saying, hey, what I'm about to do to these guys, I'm about to play with the casting on, because he knows how hype we are going to be. Unfortunately, he might have got a little bit too aggressive. He did get Lancer down, Pell there for the revive, taking different routes. So now Cellz has to be careful here. He's up at the top side by his lonesome. The push potential is going to be there, but Rushiez goes down. They have to try to clean up that kill if they want to go for the triple cap domination. They have two hills. Pale goes down as well, so a couple of trades coming through, and Cellz lands another one. And so there can only be so much Rise can push up before they have to worry about Cellz again. And there goes Avexys, another player off of respawn, so two players of Rise are going to be stuck here worrying about him.
Little down there. Now Scavzy double bounce in. We'll get that kill onto Avexys. Full red. Icy has to worry about him. Icy trying to push himself into position to get this down. We'll finally find it, but so far nobody can push up for Rise. They are still stuck here just outside of their spawn. Franchis marking everybody, trying to let his team know where they're going to go. Flashes out. Fran will move in. and I believe he's going to be wide open to that left side if Avexys can't hold the defensive stand down. They're going to go for this retake here, and if they can get it off, that might give them the lead, but Avexys slides in and gets taken out. Now Fran is going to be left out in the cold and the open, but he has a little bit of help over the top. That's Rushiez. He comes in, helps clean up one, but it's a 3v2 in this corner of the map, and both players from Rise have officially gone down and been taken out. Icy all by his lonesome is going to get wolf-packed out, and that should pretty much help solidify this, because now Rise, they don't have any time to wait. They're going to have to come straight off the spawn and fly to that next fight, fly to that next hill.
Yep. Avexys needs to win this fight quick. He needs to figure out a way to solidify this 1v1 positioning against Pell and take it to him, because that's going to fluster the 3 members that are down low. They're going to backtrack. They're going to try to play hero, but Pell, he's making the smart play, realizing they have to touch not one, but both of these hills. You got 2 players set up, Lancer heavy. Yachty gets taken out. There's going to be the hope. If Neutral gets decapped, they're going to be on the home. The decap's going to come through, but all the time in the world, Rushiez goes down. Icy's goes down as well, but the revive for Icy's going to come through. Avexys tries to get the elimination. He gets taken out. 2 hills still in favor of Rise. They're not going to win off a triple cap domination. They have to continue getting these eliminations. They have to continue dominating Team Queso. The decap is going to come through, but they can't let the capture. Icy's going to risk his life. Franchis going to back off for only a moment, but if this cap goes through, it's going to be over, and there it goes. Queso is going to solidify the cap and the round in this first bout.
Coming all the way down to the wire. I am in love with the fight out of Rise in that round. They tried to get this one to be stolen, pull the rug out from under the feet of Queso, but a very good defensive stand there at the end helps them solidify this round. And if I am Rise, I'm actually happy with the way that comes out. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, how are you going to be happy losing that first round? How are you going to be happy with a first round loss? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that took a Herculean effort out of Cellz. He had to go big early and toward the middle points of that round. And that, to me, looks like if you just shut him down and don't allow him to get 6 kills and 5 assists each and every round out of spawn, you got a much better chance of winning these rounds, because that came down to about 5 to 10 seconds before you come away with a 1-0 round count lead on the back of Cellz probably having one of the better rounds he's had all year.
I said he has the casting on in the ears, Colin, so here's how hype we're getting. Honestly, he's gonna be fueling it. We're just putting more gas into Cellz tank, so that way he can just put his foot on the pedal and bring it to Rise. You already see the first flash going out. He's just trying to facilitate for positioning first. Any damage Scavzy get is just bonus. But now they're gonna use that to kind of push up. They're gonna get in the hill, and now they're forcing a Franchis somehow dies up top. That's gonna open up for this capture to come through. You see Rise trying to fight for any bit of positioning that they can, but they have to be careful here. Cellz is just waiting. Both a bold talk and a shotgun that can both hit hard, but he's gonna get caught right in the middle between 2 players. Avexys is gonna get that quick kill. Icy gets taken out as well. 2 player of Rise gets lancered out. Team Queso is firing on all cylinders, playing to perfection right now.
Their team fire is on point. It is 100%. If it was a Madden character, their team fire would be 99 overall, and they'd be making people look silly. You see Pell already into the hill, goes to the up A. Icy hits him with a little side shot there, but doesn't get enough to get that down. 3 players of Team Queso in the hill. Little house party going forward. Rushiez is going to get the first touch, but it's going to be too little too late for Franchis to get back into that hill and get another fight to go. And you said early on he somehow died upstairs, and I mean, just like the conductor on Asylum, the lasers don't care who you are, where you're from, how many championships you got. They will take you downtown, Julie Brown, put you in the ground 6 feet deep. Oh my God, it just makes me want to weep. Rise fall down to 2-0.
This is already not looking good for Rise. Honestly, you got to give it over to Cellz, though. Both rounds early on, he did something to really affect the fight, and it bled into the remainder of that round. Yeah, the first round kind of went the distance, but that one you saw how quick it ended. So I'm going to be looking at who on the side of Rise can really stop him, or at least slow him down.
Coming out of the next round, I think one of the things that has really stood out to me is the aggression from the side of Team Queso, where they double push that one hallway to really put somebody out of position. And what they've been able to do is just getting into those hills. Cellz goes down with a retro in hand. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to get there to pick him up. You can see a couple of players trying to push out. Cellz has to bleed out, flashbang out up top. The B hill was being capped up momentarily by Rise, but Not finished off. Franchis is going to get pushed by Yachty. 2 good shots in a third. I love the strafe out of Fran right there. All he's doing is going left and right, and I know a lot of people don't like it. They call it the bot walk, but my God, if you're going to continue to hit spreads like Franchis right here, there ain't much need for you to be so much flash and dash. All you got to do is put out this pain and pressure, and now they're going to pressure him up. Franchis said, boy, don't you know about my backhand on left hand? Don't you know about it? Ain't nobody told you.
Did Cellz run into a laser? I didn't see if he got down. I didn't see what happened. I just know Cellz died to the laser. You were right. It don't matter if it's Queso. It don't matter if it's Rise. That laser is looking for some elimination, just like Franchis. As it cleans up Scavzy, Yachty goes down as well. This could be a triple cap domination for Rise, but Cellz is trying to be the hero. He finds himself 1 elimination, not letting Icy get the kill on the hill just yet, but the elimination's gonna come through. Triple cap domination, scouting off Scavzy, not getting a touch, and Rise showing some life, winning the 3rd round, but that's going to be their first here in this matchup.
Sticks and stones may break my bones. Shout out to the skins that Icy is wearing, but cheese only hurts me if I'm lactose intolerant. So they are right now trying to fight back into this one. They're only down 2-1. They can tie this thing up before going into the second half. You're going to see Franchis hovering over that retro, goes ahead and throws it up the incendiary. And I usually like when Rise keeps the retro out and allows Franchis to pick it up, take it up top, and kind of play around with it, put some pressure onto some players in that 1v1. But this time they elect to go straight for the insta-kill ability of that incendiary. On the other side, Team Queso, they're going to put down the Boltok, start to build their secondary home hill tree. You see Avexys, he's going to pick up that incendiary. This is one of the more interesting things, because if I'm Avexys, I don't know if I want that incendiary. I'd almost give it to the guy. I think it's Rushiez that has played up twice on that hallway that has gotten 2v1 on the right side. There's a part of me that keeps thinking he needs to have that incendiary. He needs to have something to be able to stop that retake, that pressure out. Icy is going to push into this hill. He's going to have one player to his left. That's going to be Avexys, and that's exactly what they did. They rotate the incendiary into the hallway that normally gets pressure, normally gets pushed up upon. So Avexys is literally here to check that player from Team Queso. Fire on to Pell. They're going to try to get some shots on him. He's full red, but they can't push up to get him down and dead. So Pell has to stay back and stay out of this, and Franchis goes down to Yachty up top, so that's going to open things up for the push home to home. Avexys 1 shot over the top. He's full red, might go down. Rushiez is here with him. Quick pickup. There's Pell to get the 1 shot and then possible down again on Avexys. The chunk comes out. I would love to see Rushiez maybe play a little bit closer to Avexys in that situation, but they split it into 2 different 1v1s, and as soon as your partner loses it, it's all over but crying for you, babe.
Honestly, it just looks like Rise, a lot of these little moves, little miscommunications, they're not even anything major. It's just the other team is really capitalizing. It's as much as one person going left while the other person is going right. One person wants to fight, but the other guy rolls back. Rise needs to figure out a way to get on the same page the entire way through. I don't know if it's communication breakdowns, call it. I don't know if it's a lot of assumptions being made of where to go next, but Franchis right now, the leader of the squad, trying to get position. He knows Avexys right, has his back, so he's trying to push forward, but Scavzy shows himself out of nowhere. Double down on Franchis. Avexys able to get a trade. He's gonna retreat, realizing this fight isn't that important right now. The position is.
There we go to that next fight on, and Icy with a wrap shot will get 1, and Icy can actually push into this B hill. I expect him to just go for this retake right now. Just try to get this B hill off. Try to get back into this point differential a little bit, because I don't know if you're going to get that win condition. No, you're not. It's not going to flip over to you, so you need a decap on the home hill of Queso. Scavzy full red gets 1 shot onto Avexys, but will go down, and now Avexys stuck in this corner. He's going to wait for some help. That's going to be Icy. 1 player down. It's a 4v2 situation on the map. As you can see, Cellz tries to pull up to help out Pell. That's going to be Pell on those stairs, going for 2 different wrap shots. Won't be able to get either of them off. 2 different body shots come out. Beautiful fight by Rise. They are swarming the home hill of Team Queso. Flash out. They are only within about a 20-point differential. I don't know if you need the retake, but they get the triple cap domination anyway. And they do exactly as I said and tie this bad boy up at 2-2 going into the second half. In PR, I am loving what I am seeing out of Rise in the assist department. Avexys already up to double-digit assists, and I believe the second player there had 8 already, so they're starting to find their own rhythm with Teamfire. They're starting to find their teammates in more fights, and that last 2v2, avoiding the wrap shot, that spells out perfection to me because he's baiting those shots out. He's forcing his teammate to basically take a true 1v1 while you're just wasting shots on a wrap that's never coming to fruition because they're calling it. They know it's coming, and then they put you both out in the middle of the hallway, double shot you down. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yep. And from the beginning of portions of that round, Rise kept a mark onto Cellz. Cellz going to be the guy playing in the middle. He had the retro. He still takes a lot of the moves. As soon as he rotated back, they wasted no time getting in there, getting the capture, and forcing Team Queso into that move. So Rise, like you said, it might have been a slow start in the beginning, but they're beginning to really pick it back up. Now we get to kind of see that up top right there for a moment. Yachty versus Franchis. Cellz, that player in the middle that I spoke about. But Rise once again switching up their strategy. Instead of playing slow, trying to play for one of the hallways, they attacked for the hill right away. Meanwhile, Team Queso sets his eyes onto Avexys and the hallway. Icy running into his death. That's actually Avexys incendiary grenade. So everything just like that in the blink of an eye, like a fresh baked cookie, comes crumbling down.
Oh no, baby. What is you doing, Rise? You got a little over aggressive, and that just ain't you. Franchise gonna get called out up top. I believe they're gonna go for the 3v1 on him, and they get it off. That's gonna be a 3v4 on the map now. Rise, they gotta find one of these kills. They get one down there on the Scavzy, but Avexys is taken down himself. Here comes the reinforcements from Rise, trying to get these double shot downs and these kills. Pell will continue to back up, continue to play defensively. 3 players from Queso in the area. Avexys gonna roll on. Here comes Fran from the backside. He gets a touch and a kill. He needs at least one more down to try to keep this alive, but it will not come through. It will not be this round. 3-2. Queso take their lead right on back in a minute, 24 seconds.
Looking good, looking good. Like I said, another switch up of strategy coming out from Rise. They went ahead, they put Icy directly into the hill, going for that early capture. The thing is, they didn't facilitate anything after that. He didn't maneuver Icy around to where he was able to help. On the flip side, Cellz, once again, the man, I'm going to keep mentioning his name. I know Scavzy was the player to watch, but he went ahead and worked with his teammate to isolate Avexys with that retro on the other side, which opened up that whole side of the map to then backtrack and take out the rest of the members of Rise, even force the Icy into his teammates' incendiary grenade. So once again, it's Cellz leading the charge in a lot of these pushes.
Everybody rolling out of spawn. Cellz having to lead the charge in a lot of these pushes, and Cellz up top of that retro is really forcing Avexys to stay down. The flashbang comes out, and Avexys has no real choice or option. They get a double down over there. I don't know if anybody can actually get to him because Cellz with that retro is literally going to be able to keep Icy's head down. Both of those players might have to bleed out. You see everybody crawling around trying to look for help. I believe Pell is still down. He's going to get picked up. Oh, he got picked up. What a beautiful play by Queso. Teamwork makes the dream work. And Franchise can do all he wants from behind out of the spawn position, but it's not going to be enough. They give the E-Hill right back up. It's only a 30-point differential.
Guess who started up? Guess who got the down in the nick of time? Guess who it is? It's this man again, Cellz. Even though we're watching Scavzy, he figures out a way. He figures out a hole in the enemy team, and he exposes it time and time again. Like you said, this is an inspiration to those challenger teams, amateur players, people really fighting for that opportunity, that chance. Team Queso not only is dismantling some of these teams in way of their experience, they're proving that they can bang with the best of them. Now, Team Queso up only 1 round, though. Still a hard-fought battle between Rise. Lots of retro fire going on against Franchise. He may have to think twice about where you're going, buddy.
Hey, look, I believe it was... I'll wait for this fight to go. Icy is trying his best to get Cellz down, going for those shots over the cover. Finally, we'll get him down and might be able to clean him up as well. It was in the book Bloodlines. Gabriel Diaz, the leader of his squad from Gears Tactics, he said the retro does one thing really well, and that's punch a hole in walls. And that's what you get to see on the back of Cellz. The way he's able to really force players out of position and force those downs, he is absolutely putting all the pressure in the world on everybody that comes out of cover because of that retro, because of all the extra damage he can put in. And Pell's hitting bricks. My man is just laying down houses at this point in an expensive neighborhood. He said, hey, I'm going to be building mansions for anybody that wants to move in. Bill Gates, you want a spot? Jeff Bezos, you want one? I got bricks for everybody because Pell has put people on skates and get kills after kills to try to solidify hill after hill. Avexys got snuck up on already. Ain't got no help over the top. Franchise tries to get there, but it's not time. PR. Team Queso is staying in each and every fight. I mean, just unbelievable. I can't take my eyes off this.
Pell is just not backing down either. 2 players in front of him. It's all right. I got this, boys. You may have died, but you put as much time to waste on the side of Rise as possible. Franchise gets one. Trades coming through. Rushiez goes down again. And there you have it. Team Queso found a way to hold on to that neutral. And there goes Avexys. He has to be in 2 places at once, but he's not even going to get the touch on the 1-0. And it's that man again, Pell, putting an end to Rise in that round. Going 4-2 now on map point. I should have picked cheese again. You shouldn't
have gone with me, buddy. Sometimes following me
reflections
sometimes following me will not take you to the promised land. I promise you. It's going to take you more out to a pasture where you can watch the sunset out in the deep parts of the woods here in Virginia. That's where it's about to find you. But you see the retro coming out on the side of Team Queso down to 60 seconds. They're going to have that thing back every minute. I think Rise might answer back with a shot grenade. And this is, again, a difference in opinion, a difference in strategy. And Team Queso, they are loving everything that retro is giving to them, and especially giving it to a guy like Cellz and how he's able to control the bottom middle of the map quite easily with that retro as well. There's the quick pick on it. He's going to try to get into that cover. Anybody that goes for that movement into that B hill, they're going to get taken down. Cellz, he's just going to keep watching for ice. Yo, that's not fair.
Yo, where'd that even come from, bro?
Up top. He threw it over
from above.
He threw it from the top. And he got the kill. I'm not saying we're going to map 2, but I'm saying we're about to find ourselves on map 2.
Nah. Hold on, Rushiez got this. Rushiez is the guy that needs to really heat up for this Rise squad overall. Not just one matchup, but honestly, overall, he needs to figure out a way to kind of play into his strengths. I've been saying on it. Now I'm back on that train. You can kind of see, and I'm going to call him out, Prodigy. I don't know if you're watching. I don't know if you're here, but I'm going to go ahead and say, somebody find Prodigy. Get me the stats differential of Rushiez between last season, back when he was playing on Reciprocity, and then back when these changes got made to 4v4, when you kind of saw, I don't want to say the fall of Rise, but where you can saw them start to regress as a team. I need to see kind of what has been really different overall. But Pell finds another elimination onto Rushiez. Big shots onto Avexys as well.
Oh my God.
Be a double. Who's going to stop him? I don't think anybody can.
You're going to need a freight train, and it's going to have to hit him going as fast as it possibly can. Because Pell's done 2 things better than anybody else in this map. And we just saw both of them. He got a kill. He gets a team revive off. He's going to drop that flash. He knows that he's got 2 players stunned. Icy playing up, going for that little fakey up A. And
oh my.
Yo!
Delete. Alternate F4. He just took him right out of that one.
I don't even know what Alt F4 means, but I'll tell you right now, if I'm Scavzy or Pell, what I'm feeling is look, I'm feeling myself, baby. I'm feeling myself. All right. I don't know. You're talking to the wrong man for that reference. You're talking to the wrong man.
They got nervous. Pell just started walking at him. They got nervous and just ran into Scavzy. Man, this is not looking good. Rise has such a massive lead, though. They need to figure out a way to hold on. You need to stop the bleeding. If Avexys dies here, that's fine. This is where you stop the bleeding. Figure out a way to get all your members up, because you need to get 1 neutralization. Team Queso, 2 hills uncontested. They will find a way to come back, but they're just throwing their lives away. Icy pushes forward, gets taken out. Cellz cleans it up. You got a 1v1 going down up top. Both players are actually getting weak. I don't know who's going to win that battle, but if Rise doesn't find a way to come out on top and start building some momentum, Team Queso will receive a comeback victory.
An absolutely beautiful job by team. I think this is going to be a comeback victory in this round. You're going to see that shot comes out. Rushiez is trying to stop him from pushing to the home hill. Buddy, all you got to do is shoot him. You might need to save that shock if he pushes up to you. Now they throw an incendiary. There's a triple decap. Now Rise has to be everywhere all at once. It's not going to happen. It's not going to come through. They aren't even going to be able to make it all the way over to F in time to stop this round from going in favor of Team Queso. And that is official, ladies and gentlemen. 5-2. They only give up 2 rounds right there to end the first half, but for 3 straight rounds to start and to end the second half, Team Queso was dominant from top to bottom. And that man right there, he's letting you all know he's calling a shot. He said, I see red and you're dead. We will come back with map number 2 just after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the broadcast. We had to reset everything on my side because since I didn't know what it was, I figured I would just start pressing Alt F4 on everything. I just switch monitor, Alt F4, switch monitor, Alt F4. Comes to find out, that does some horrifyingly bad stuff on my end because you're talking to a grade A idiot and I have no idea what I did. I was in the dark. I basically shut the power off to the house. I walked downstairs, turned off the circuit breaker. God knows what else was going on in the background. Probably a fire. Somebody needs to get me an extinguisher and put it out.
Yo, it just reminds me of those old times in Gears 1. The connection error pops up and you just go in game chat, press B to win. See how many people disconnect because they're pressing B. Those are the moments you'll remember, just like Rise. Won't forget these moments where they just received a beatdown on the hands of Team Queso. And honestly, I will go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and preach it. Rise have a history of having a slow start in map number 1. They have the potential to come back. How many times am I wasting my channel points on them? How many times?
Well, I think one of the things that we can really point at and look to a lot in that match, and you saw it a lot in those highlight reels as well, and it's something that you have without a doubt preached time and time again, and I just wait for these teams to start to realize it better. The teams in Pro League, the teams all day long that win a lot of these matchups, they're playing basically with a tether between 2 to 3 players. You see them playing 5 to 6 feet away from each other. You see the down. Somebody's already there to get the pickup of the revive. You get it down, and your teammate's there at about 5 feet away from you with that other shot to finish off that kill. So now you don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about your opponents getting that team revive off. I think that's something that's so underrated, and Team Queso has done that better than anybody else on the planet for the past few weeks, if you ask me. I know their record is not perfect. I know they are not playing and winning everything 10-0, where they're winning the first 2 maps 5-0, 5-0. But a lot of the times when they're winning rounds, when they're winning these games and matchups, they are winning them because you see it. There are 2 people playing in each other's pockets and they're getting double shot downs.
Yep. And on the side of Rise, though, it's almost the exact opposite. In those few rounds that you saw success, even in the past matches throughout the season, you can kind of see it when they are helping each other. They're firing on cylinders, even players sacrificing their lives for the greater good. They have some success. But once they start losing certain battles and you start seeing a team pick away round after round, you can kind of see why. They're throwing their lives away one after the next. There was a moment in that last match, they need to figure out a way to stop the bleeding. You see it from a number of teams. The way they stop the bleeding is they turtle back. They try to keep their players alive. They give up 50, 60 points, yes, if they have the luxury to do so, because they have the confidence in their retake. Figure out all the players where they're at on the map, get the team wipe elimination, or at least get the majority of them and force those players back. Rise on this last map, honestly, I didn't see anything like that. I saw a couple of great moments where these players were working together. We did give them credit. Franchise coming up big along with the Avexys, but every single round after that, Team Queso just picking players apart one after the next. They're going for great, they're playing so close together. I mean, though, Colin, that those downs that Rise are picking up don't mean anything because they're immediately getting the revives and getting the eliminations while the players on Rise are continuing to cross. Rise needs to figure out a way to pick up the pants, buckle that belt, and get into the action.
One of the things that we're going to see the difference of going into this map too, though, when you go to Foundation, is it is a little bit more spread out. It's going to be a little bit harder for Team Queso to play so very close to each other, so it might change the tides for Rise. They come here to their map pick now. They're going to have to feel a little bit more comfortable on it. You got to imagine that they probably got something up their sleeves because, like you said before this starts off, they are already low in the standings, and if they lose here to Team Queso, they are going to be smelling relegation because it's going to be knocking on death's door for them.
Yep. Right now, they're still in some shape or form in control of their own destiny. And a lot of people, football, baseball, soccer, whatever you might be, when you guys are looking at those playoff standings or playoff predictions, who's going to make it, who's in control of those destiny, those teams, particularly, Dream Conspiracy near the bottom to where they're like, I need this team to lose. I need this team to lose, where it doesn't matter your win because you're still not there. Rise right now, they can still come out on top, not get relegated with some victories, but they have to pull it together. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting in the stands hoping for other teams' demise. And already starting out hot, though, is going to be Rise, Franchise, Icy working together to get first blood onto Yachty, and there's going to be another kill solidified on Pell. So what a great initial strategy coming out from Rise, but how long, how fast can they keep this going?
Well, Rushiez dies in the 1v1 up top. There's Scavzy playing that top street position using that brand new Chairman Prescott skin that came out this weekend. It's got all the medals across the chest plate. You know how beautiful it looks. believe that's a black steel lancer in the hand, and I can't tell if that's the hologram of the neon lights on the back of the shotgun. That's definitely the neon that came out this week as well. My God, the store is on fire right now with skins. I'm not lying to you at home. Go ahead and pick yours up. Rise, they're going to get the 2-1 Hills advantage back in their favor momentarily. They're going to lose it right back because Fran, he stays out in the open too long and gets downed over at the fountains. So Team Queso is going to have the 2-1 Hill cap, and they're going to be able to 90-degree out, try to get these Lancer angles onto who's left from Rise, and go for this triple cap domination.
Team Queso answering back. They know Pell has the cross across the map, so it's going to be up to Cellz again to try and go big. Big shots being fired off. Cellz gets taken down, but he wasn't eliminated. Yachty with a hero play to get 2, and that could be the closing rounds thanks to Yachty and Pell's teamwork to back up Cellz. So Team Queso, they're not letting up off the gas. They're ready to take this victory and put a bruising to Rise.
And again, Rise is just, I almost want to call it no man's land. Franchise at Fountains is lancering the players in the B Hill by himself. Now, I'm not a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but I assume that 2 Lancers will put out twice as many bullets as 1. So he keeps playing with that angle, gets taken down, and it gives up the Fountains in the 90-degree going into their home. I just am so curious what the comms are like for that team, because there's no way it's going to be nice, crispy, and clean and ready to go like it has been in the past under some of the different leaderships that they have found themselves with.
Obviously, things has changed over time, but I don't really know who on the team of Rise is kind of known to be as vocal. Franchise, of course, he is the IGL. Maybe Avexys and Icy here and there, but I know Rushiez sometimes he sits a little quiet. I know Icy at times can have that same aspect when things aren't going his way, but Scavzy trying to take control of the middle, and he takes out Avexys. And those are the fights Avexys and the players of Rise have to win. You have the advantage. The players are pushing into you, and you immediately get eliminated. Now Rushiez is feeling the pressure from both sides, forced forward, and he gets eliminated as well, or at least knocked down, forced to rethink about his decisions.
Franchise down low is holding the T-table. He's looking for anybody to try to cross him out. Here comes a third player from Queso outside. He's going to fly into the bottom foundations. Icy is going to go down. Quick revive out from Franchise. And if there's anybody on the squad, like, yes, he made the mistake in the first round, but if there's anybody going to understand to try to play back, play for your teammate, play for a revive, it's going to be a guy that's won championships on a game like Gears of War Ultimate Edition. He knows how crucial those revives can be, how good that team fire is going to have to be for you to win these engagements and continue to pressure your opponent. 2-1 Hill in the favor of Rise. They've got a few moments before they can take this lead. 2-2 down here. Pell's going to throw that flash out. Icy's going to take the backside of the U. Got a long angle on Yachty. There's a down onto Pell, but here comes a third player from Queso. Icy goes huge with a double kill, and the third one's cleaned up by Franchise. Last player alive is Cellz. Flash out. Rushiez is going to try to stay alive for as long as he can, but he's downed out by Cellz. Now he's got 2 players in front of him to worry about. Steps out, gets the easy brick onto Avexys, but won't get the kill. Rushiez is going to get revived as well. 3v3 here, and with 1 player crossing out for the 90-degree, that's going to make a whole world of hurt for Team Queso. But with kills like that, they are going to be able to fend off this triple cap domination.
That was a big elimination because Franchise didn't even trade out. So if they can able to pick up more of these eliminations, begin to push through, this could work out for Team Queso here. The score is about 50 points, but finally Rushiez is able to put something together, figure out a way to clean up the remainder of those eliminations. There goes 2 for Rushiez, and now he's putting the pressure right back on. He's going to get the decap. He's going to force those players fresh off of respawn to have to deal with him instead of all these extra hills. Rise is looking like they're going to win this round, barring any miracles coming out from Team Queso. Rush is being forced back. As long as he stays alive, waste the time of the offense from TK. So this is definitely going to be a successful round. Yachty gets taken up. Pell falls as well. Scavzy stuck in the corner. 4 players dead, and Rise will strike back.
They strike back. They find themselves around, but it was not easily won. And those are the things, I mean, at the end of the day, Rise is going to win some of these rounds, but I just don't see them coming away with this. And I predicted them to win before the matchup, but they have shown me nothing to get back up all the hype and the praise I gave them coming into this matchup. I have not seen them really take control over these rounds. You still are getting minute 30, 2-minute 30, almost 3-minute rounds that Rise has to win. Whereas with Queso, they are a steamroller. They are a freight train. They are anything and everything. They're 747, 30,000 feet in the air. They are flying across the map, making life hard for Rise at every turn. And I see it in each and every engagement. Team Queso is not going down. They're not going quietly into the night, and it's forcing Rise to make some pretty tough decisions when it comes to how they're going to rotate around the map.
I'm wondering when that point. I know a lot of players in chat, you know, they're very, very opinionated, calm. They like to let Rise know. They like to let us know week after week what they think of Rise. And a lot of players, honestly, are beginning to give up on these superstar squads. As I've always said, sometimes you got the best players in the world, and sometimes they not mesh well. But Icy is a player that will never give up. He's always given 110%. You can see why, pushing forward. He actually looks like he might have gotten flashed by a teammate, though. Avexys trying to make up for that one. Franchis gets taken down. They're doing a good job of forcing Scavzy back and picking up that elimination. So even though Team Queso, they were able to solidify that neutral, it's not going to come without sacrifice. Rise need to start decapping the home hill, but nobody is doing it. They're trying to solidify the eliminations first, and there goes Cellz drawing Avexys back, drawing multiple players to worry about them, to where they're not going to get that decap onto the home hill. So that little bit of score lead that Team Queso got on from the neutral is definitely going to be something they can build for on the rest of this round.
You see the decap and the retake there by Rise. Icy slides up to the right side of that U and gets the kill onto Yachty. Down in the middle of the map is going to get cleaned up as well. 2 players left alive. It's going to be Scavzy and Pell to try to hold off the wave of Rise. 4 players alive. I don't know if they're going to pressure up it so much, but they do continue to pressure out towards Scavzy. Flashed out, gets the stun. Now he's holding that corner, but the good double team, the wide angle out. And look at Pell, snuck all the way through to the home hill of Rise. There's the call out on him. They say, hey, he's behind enemy lines. He's going to rotate into our spawn, and he's trying to pull us back. I don't know if we can let him do it, but they need to 2v1 him out. They're going to go wide. Pell has to worry about one coming close. He's going to full red, get taken down. They're going to let him bleed out. There's no way they even clean him up at this point. You see him still holding on to B.
Oh, wow.
They're going to decap their home hill. Icy! Icy! Oh! I saw the thought process, my man. I saw you calling your shot, trying to get that double kill. The down comes through on Cellz, though. Avexys is there to clean him up and get that cap to go off. There's the triple cap domination being red. Yachty will get shut down by a Franchise once again. 2-1, Rise, they take the lead.
You saw it basically. Pell on one side of the spawn having a 2v1, Icy on the other. And you see how important those trades are. Icy, he should have got taken down. Team Queso should have figured out a way to angle him out, use their numbers to make sure he doesn't get anything, but he gets exactly what he wants in the end, while Pell was kind of gifted nothing. He did a little fake out, acted like he was going to push forward, forcing the shotgun out of Pell, which then he kind of saw him backtrack, go wide to not give up the free one-shot kill. So in that little individual exchange, you see the potential of what Rise can really bring to the table. It's about on a consistent basis, executing round after round, play after play, that they're seemingly falling short. And a team like Team Queso, man, you give up an inch, they're aggressive, they will try to take a mile. You have to figure out a way to add your brain, add those smarts, and figure out a way to use your strategy against them.
Now we see Icy once again trying to take over the middle of the map. Cellz has gotten his baby back. They have given him the retro once again. Icy continuing to play his positioning very well down here in the open side of Foundation. And he's actually one of the more feared players, if you ask me, in that fight because of how good he is every week that you can watch him on those Astro 2v2 battles. It is this mid-box fight that Icy has become so very proficient at. Goes for the fakie and the wrap, but Scavzy doesn't fall for it. He's going to get that down. Here comes the players off of respawn. They get a second down. He basically played that 2v1 to perfection with the Mr. Krabs plays coming out. 3 seconds left. Rushiez has got to try to figure out where the kill's going to come from. He had no choice but to sit on the cubby corner and wait for Yachty to hit him with the up A from hell. Franchise is going to take that corner, try to get this down. Hits the first shot, slides past the second, can't get taken on. He gets taken out.
That Rushiez play is the example of too many options. He had too many options on the table. Didn't know which player to up A, which player to fire at. He kind of was like a deer caught in the headlights in the end where they took him out. But Rise, they still have the lead, but Coming back slowly but surely is Team Queso. They have 2 hills under their belt, and you can already see the overextension coming through from Rise, putting their players on for a home mill to home mill extension. But I need to see Avexys play up in the middle. He's going to be the one to sell it, whether he go ahead and executes in towards the middle or finds a way to backtrack towards the top side right now, and that's where the mismatch comes in. This is a 3v2 opportunity. Rise has to see this and go.
You see that one player playing back at the home hill. There's a down onto Rushiez. You see Avexys trying to play up on Pell. Pell's got a lot of good shots on him. Avexys hits another L trigger. Well, won't be able to find anything, and you can see the flash come out. Will they be able to clean Yachty up, or is Pell going to get another revive off? And he does. They get the cap off, but again, they're giving up the reinforcements. They're giving up the team lives to the side of Team Queso. They're not able to clean anything up whatsoever. Franchis has to reload. A beautiful shot there to get the third down and out onto Yachty. But look at the way they flood right back into the hill. 2 players alive. They get the kills. They're gonna get the hill, and they are gonna take this. They're gonna take this lead right back, especially with a decap on A. Incendiary out, forcing Icy to take the inside, but the trade comes through. Scavzy still holding this triple cap domination to take through. Will Fran get there for the reset? He does just in time, but he goes down to the Boltok, I believe, the meat shield of Scavzy's, who has just put on an absolute Broadway show. He is center stage, and he is singing a solo at this point.
I hate being the player stuck in this situation. You have to come up with a miracle. You're going against the whole army, but Avexys, that's going to be 2 kills. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. They can't stay and capture the hill. Franchise, do you see Cellz there? And there it goes. The final nail in the coffin as Cellz catches Franchise slipping. Avexys goes down as well. And let me rewind for a moment, Colin. I talked about it. Number 7, which was Avexys running through the center of the map. Their play got telegraphed with those 2 players going over towards Statue and Catwalk. Avexys either needed to not get marked in the middle, which he did and gave away the full play, or he needed to throw his utility, throw some sort of a smoke to cloud the judgment, because he pushed into the middle. He got marked. He didn't push in towards Pistons. They actually saw him back out, push up the mid ramp. So that extra player in towards Pistons, it might have been Pill again, I don't know, was able to backtrack out almost immediately. It might have been Scavzy's as well to make that a 3v3 defensive fight. They picked off Avexys in the middle almost initially, which made those 2 players, I think Icy's and Rushiez, almost impossible for them to solidify that home hill.
They do come away with another round under their belt, tie it up. It is 2-2 coming here into the second half, as that mid-neutral hill will flip over to the statue, and you can see a 2v2 is about to break out over here as Icy's trying to get in position over here at the statue. A little red, flash in hand, not dead. Yachty up top. He's trying to just survey the area, survey where he needs to go. And I believe if you're a franchise, you have to be careful here, because that incendiary grenade is ever looming in the hands, of Yachty on the opposite side as they slide into that hill. He's going to probably try to get that one-shot kill, that insta-gib. Franchise just trying to look around. They're surveying the area. The second half of Foundation does slow up to almost a crawl, to a standstill, to a snail's pace. Cellz a little red. He reds out Avexys as well, and Icy tries to actually slide all the way down through closed. Now he's going to push back up. Pell's going to have the extra shot onto Fran. Fran's going to throw his incendiary out. They get the double shot down onto him. They got to worry about Yachty. I don't believe he has already used his incendiary, so Yachty has nothing to stop them from getting the cap here on the E hill. Triple cap domination being threatened. Icy bouncing around. He's going to go down, but they get the cap off, and that will be 3-2. Beautiful little Mr. Krabs play comes to fruition by Rise. They take the lead. They're 2 rounds away from tying this up to 1-1.
I like second half a lot more when it comes to options and things like that, because of the way you're able to maneuver through the middle, maneuver underneath through closed or open, depending on where you want to go. Because honestly, you go through Pistons, you try to go for the home hill, you go through closed, you try to get the statue, or you can attack the middle and have your cake and eat it too. But the Retro Lantern is going to close out one of those options. Going to make it where you have to think twice if you try to go for that home hill to home hill overextension. Those players down low, if that is going to be an option for you, they have to start the fight with the retro. Get half that clip to be wasted on you while that second player comes through trying to blindside them. That's if that play is going to come down. But a lot of the action starts off into the middle. So I'm going to be looking at Avexys and Cellz in this round to figure out how it is going to start us off.
So Icy will try to slide into the back statue. Full red. One more shot, my man would have been down. They throw the incendiary, assuming they're going to get that kill. He tries to stay alive. He's going to finally go down to the back statue. He crawls into the fire and gets himself to be finished off. He knows that if he gets bled out there, it's going to make it that much harder for Rise to comeback in this round, so he said, I got to go ahead and bleed out. He's got 2 players in front of Franchise to worry about. He, I believe, has already thrown his incendiary. Full red now. I don't know if you can even stay here. They've rotated somebody into the fight. You see Avexys over here with him, gets 1 kill to trade out. Now they got to worry about Pell in a 2v1. Pell, my man, has gotten Pell has without a doubt made more people bleed than paper cuts in history. My man is just putting everybody on skates with the bricks he's hitting. They're making everybody think twice before they take that push, that play. 2-1 Hill in advantage in favor of Rise right now. If I'm Rise, I don't pressure this. This is one of those situations where you can gather a lot of points. You can make Queso make the mistake, going home to home, trying to make a play, make a stretch. Scavzy with a retro in hand. Rushiez answering him back, goes for the active there on his own retro, and here comes the double push out. Scavzy will try to push up, go for that little bit of an up bait pressure. You see Rushiez just trying to get marks, get plays called out. I love the information gathered by Rushiez right there. He's called out how many people are coming through the bottom of the map. Cellz will be full red. He's waiting for Fran to try to push. Here comes a little flash and dash. He's going to not get a stun. He's going to take the bottom close baby steps, and he's going to try to rotate on at least 1 player from Rise over here.
Yachty, though, finds a pick on the Franchise. He's the one that tried to escape. Almost goes down, but figured out a way to escape. He talked about that information being gathered. That mark on Pell really stopped anything from being sneaky, but Team Queso finds a way to push through in the end. Icy goes down as well, trying to be the rat in enemy lines. Once they get this elimination, it's going to make it to where they can set back up. All those points that Rise set up to collect is going to go on over towards Team Queso here, especially if they're able to put out multiple retros. It's going to be Scavzy here with the retro, who's kind of holding down that home hill. That's why I talked about it. They can't push through onto Rushiez, so Avexys didn't want to give up all that positioning. It makes me wonder why Rise thought Rushiez was going to get pushed. That Hell was never in the vicinity for a push to happen.
2 players stacked up. Yachty has the incendiary in his hand. They're going to try to get for the double lancer. There's the incendiary to stop the decap. He gets the kill on Fran. They don't get the decap necessary to win this round, and we will see another tie ball game here as it's going to tick on up and be 3-3 because of Avexys. He's got nowhere to go, can't you see? Those boys from Team Queso, they are making it look as easy as learning your ABCs.
Yep. Rise. In that last, in this round, it looked like they were set up. Like I said, they had the players there. Rushiez was on the home hill with the retro lancer. He was getting the information in which you were talking about. He spotted out Pell, and that to me was the biggest thing, that information on Pell, because Rushiez knows that player's in front of him. You don't need a mark because you'll see him run away or you'll see him push in front of you. The information necessary was on Pell. He got the mark. You saw Pell go into open, and that's where you wonder the rest of the team for Rise. Where were they set at? Why was that so easy for Team Queso to go through, and how were they able to find the eliminations as if Rise was opening the door saying, hey, come in, we'll have a seat down ready for you, get some lemonade, you want some snacks too?
I mean, I'll take snacks. I don't know about anybody else. I'm always down for snacks. You talking to a fat boy right now. I'm always down for snacks, my man. Retro hovered over, shock grenade placed out. Once again, a difference in opinion, a difference in strategy. Team Queso leaning on that retro, leaning on that welding home hill defensive stand. Whereas now, Rise, all they've got is 2 grenades. One of them an insta-kill ability. The other one is just an AoE that's going to stop you from being able to pressure up through to the home hill. And stacked up once again. Franchise looking to gather the information. I believe they know that Cellz is sat down in that middle. So we will come to yet another standstill. Everybody's going to be waiting for the pressure, waiting for that next shot to come out. I just don't believe... I don't believe that you can really make a play if you're Rise. Last time you put Icy behind the statue, he gets taken down and put out, and makes it an awkward fight because the other 3 players have to scramble PR.
I feel like you can do one of 2 things here. Let Rushiez play up a little bit more. He didn't grab that retro early on. That way he can get the positioning in towards the middle. It's going to be Avexys trying to take it. No move is being made on the statue just yet. But you can use that retro to really try to facilitate something on the home hill to home hill. But Avexys needs to make sure he isn't marked when he's making those rotations. I think that was going to be one of the biggest things that I noticed last time, where they try to make a push in towards the middle. He was marked out, gave away his position. Yachty with an instant over the top, trying to get Icy out of that positioning, but I don't know how much they're going to get out of that. Well traded flash to make sure Icy stays safe. He's just bouncing around, not taking too much damage, but Pell, we know how risky he can get. We know how aggressive he likes to be. This is going to be the moment.
There's the incendiary from Franchis, finds Pell, and now Yachty will be by himself at the top street. Franchis trying to rotate to his right, plays it wide enough that Yachty has to push up into him with a little bit of a roadie strafe. Won't get it to go. He'll go down. Scavzy down in the bottom by himself, trying to rotate back toward his own home hill, holding on to that retro. Anybody that pressures up to him is going to be very damaged. The up A from Rushiez will have him full red, but not dead. And Scavzy will be able to hold court, hold session here at the home, and pick up the respawned retro.
Oh, you saw that mark onto Avexys. Look at number 4 in your cam. Look at them overextend, because once again, Avexys is making these moves while being marked. They make this look easy. It's gonna be Rushiez versus the retro. He's getting double crossed down. Team Queso, in the blink of an eye, makes the perfect rotational play. They have some coming back to do, but with these 2 hills uncontested, they will come back. Now they're gonna be on the driver's seat, and look what's right in front of them. That's a treat on the floor, a Scooby snack, whatever you call it, a shot grenade to really close down an alleyway. So Rise, well, great moves being made, and even better one right there with Icy. They can't waste any time. Just like Team Queso, they have to attack that hill.
You see Icy, he knows he's got an opponent right in front of him. He knows they've got to bait out. I don't know if Pell's going to make it all the way over to the E hill to try to stop this, but you can see still gathering points, now gathering double the points, double your pleasure, double your fun, double mint gum. Here comes Scavzy throwing out the shock, goes to the up A onto Avexys. He gets double shot down, 2-1 hill advantage. Will go over to Queso, but I don't know if Rise is going to lose that win condition, as they are already back in their home hill, going for this decap, trying to pressure Cellz out of his position. There's the crawl back in, nobody at D hill just yet. Rise are going to find themselves on map point here momentarily. A beautiful round. You said that Avexys continues to make moves, not silenced by any stretch of the imagination, as he is getting marked out, and they know exactly where they have to rotate around. And we almost had a rut-roll reggie moment, as you saw that Scooby snack get picked up off the ground, and Queso was finding themselves the ability to mark out, shoot down, and kill off multiple members from Rise in the later portions of that round. But I mean, a beautiful instant from Icy shuts that all down.
That was just full-on team communication from Team Queso. Even though it was one player in particular, Scavzy, that kind of started the push, pushing across. You see the locks coming down from both of them, and you see it. The shot grenade versus the retro, and yet another round. No Instin's going to be able to play. And this is where I put even more importance in towards the middle. Both Icy and Avexys on the other side of things. I do believe it is going to be a Cellz and maybe Pell. There's 2 players, one in front of Statue and the other player being in the middle. Getting that early positioning like we do see the Pittsburgh Knights do, we do see United do, is going to be so important. But how big is that risk, and do you want to make it? Icy's going to be the first one going forward, and I think he wins on this exchange because there's no instants, there's no shot grenades towards the backside to stop him. And Rushiez gets the first kill.
Rushiez gets ice breaking down there on that Pistons. Is he going to have a free ride over to the F hill? I don't know if they're going to be able to pressure up in time to be able to get that triple cap domination. Rushiez is going to have to win a second. They're going to have to win a second fight over there. I believe it's going to be another 1v1 between Rush and whoever is coming off spawn. That's going to be Scavzy. Full red gets a beautiful down on him, and now the meat shield out. Home-to-home stretch for Rise. They get another down here on Cellz. They clean it up. Icy bouncing around. Continue to clean up these kills. Continue to apply pressure. It's going to force the members from Team Queso to scramble back off of respawn. You see Pell trying to push up. He's going to be a little redded out, but he's finally going to go down into the E hill. Fran will clean him up. Here comes the triple cap domination. Scavzy bounces in. Not going to be enough. Cellz, he's going to try his hand, but he's not the Flash. He'll go down in a dash, and Rise, they answer back 5-3.
And we got ourselves a map number 3. Like I said, history of slow starts on the side of Rise, being able to pick it back up, even with some quick moves being made from Avexys, giving away everything they had with him being marked. They were figuring out a way time and time again to hold on to that victory. Colin, I go ahead and ask you, map number 3, everything on the line. You still going with Rise?
I mean, I've got to go with my gut, my man. There has never been anybody that I've probably watched more matches of, watched more fights be taken by than Franchis. And at the end of the day, as much faith as I put in, and everybody calls me biased toward one specific team in this pro league, and how much I profess my love for one player time and time again, Franchis will always be my number 1. He will always be the dude. So if it comes down to it, I'm putting my chips on Franchise's team. Gun to my head. I ain't saying pull the trigger. I'm saying Franchise is going to come away with his dub.
Honestly, when we saw those predictions go down in chat, also went with Rise, it made me laugh because I was almost certain they were going to go with Team Queso. But let's check out these replays, Colin. Some of these plays early on from Team Queso were looking like they were going to heat up and take the victory, but they were just outmatched. The strategy from Rise proved to be superior.
Hey, look, they might have heated up early in this map, but Rise said map number 2 is nacho cheese, baby. They took it away from them. They win it 5-3. They said you're going to have to come back and harbor, and they're going to have to see if there's a beautiful shipment of some kind of foreign cheese for you to win this map 3. Because right now, Rise, they find themselves at possibly their apex, and they find themselves trying to get to that pinnacle and get this win tonight over the side of Team K. So did I do enough puns and other words to mean the team name? Did I do enough?
I need at least 20 more by the end of the replays alone. But honestly, no. All jokes aside, and I also kind of give it to Rushiez in that last round, figuring out a way to get that elimination, force the overextension, because it puts that pressure on the rest of the members of Team Queso. And you can kind of see it there, the rotation coming through from Avexys to really show that he had backup in that fight. So now map number 3 is going to be Harbor. And we know how the map plays, where it's a lot of the boat fight, the stern, the winch, who takes control, a lot of crossfire going down from there. But do you think either one of these teams have the tricks up their sleeves to steal out some of these rounds?
Well, one of the things that I think you're going to see is Rise is also very famous on Harbor for placing centerline weapons. And I think that's the tricks that you're going to see. Those are the curveballs that Rise can throw in this map 3 to really keep Team Queso on their back foot or second guessing where they need to go in these initials. Especially if they lose the first couple of rounds. I expect to see Rise, if they go down 1-0, maybe even 2-0, I expect a very quick M-bar at the stern. I expect a very quick torque bow in the middle. I've seen him place both of those weapons after a couple of round losses. I will not be surprised or shocked, to say the least, if they place one of those power weapons centerline early in this map 3 to try to force a different team fight, try to force somebody from Team Queso out of their normal positioning and spots. So for me, if I'm Team Queso, I say, look, if we beat them up, we need to take all 30 seconds to talk about if they place this here, who's going to do what? If they place this here, what are we going to do? If I'm Team Queso, even if I'm winning rounds, I'm using that whole 30 seconds. I am talking every last possible detail over.
Yeah, especially if you're winning the rounds in a fashion to where you're flustering the enemy team. And honestly, there's a lot of things that go into. We talk about mechanical skill. We talk about the IQ, rotations, and things like that. One thing that I feel like we don't talk about enough is the mental composure. A lot of these players have to have time and time again backs up against the wall, even when they're losing the little individual battles all the way to the team fights, because honestly, that's where you begin to see players crumble, going in individually one after the next, and it costs them their team. You see full teams begin to struggle to where they might have a lead in a round and it just gets wiped away from them time and time again. So I'm going to see if Rise or Team Queso really have that mental composure, the endurance to really go the full mile here against each other, because this is a match that is a little bit more evenly matched than I did expect going into this one. I thought Rise was going to have a little bit more up their sleeves to show, but honestly, I think this is an even match going into it. And in order to control their destiny, I've talked about it, this is a must-win match for Rise. Otherwise, they're going to be at the mercy of everyone else in the league if they're not looking to go through that relegation.
Hey, look, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I mean, you take this last split, you take this a couple splits ago, whatever it might have been, Team Queso coming into this matchup would have been a flyweight going up against a super heavyweight. And right now, it looks like we are watching two cruiserweights. They have come together in their same division. They're finding themselves matched up pound for pound, throwing blow for blow in the middle of the ring, trying to figure out who's going to win this matchup. I think the thing that people are getting to see is those extra steps, those extra shots. Team Queso on a map like Exhibit, able to shoot for one another, able to play as a team and a unit, playing with that tether, were very good and very convincing in their round wins. They get spread out on foundation, and Rise finds those little openings. They find a way to rotate somebody around. Harbor has a little bit of that. Harbor will have that mid cut, that mid lane that you can get lost in the sauce and somebody might be able to rotate through. But early on in this map, I fully expect Team Queso to come out just as hot as they did in map 1, and Rise is going to have an answer for that. The test for Rise in map 3 to me is weathering the early storm from Team Queso, because you know the winch, you know the stern. It's going to be CQC, it's going to be a lot of double shot downs, and it's going to be a lot of people getting those revives off.
Yep, and I like the way you said it, because one of the biggest things that I'm saying is the adaptation coming out from Rise when that does happen, because we know there's going to be a bloodbath on Wench and Stern in the early rounds before that big weapon gets placed down. It's about, can Rise stay composed, not get desperate, not get or stagger their own deaths, go in one by one and stop the bleeding when necessary. Make sure they have an opportunity as a full team to figure out if they're going to make a repush, figure out where they want to make that push, and when to execute. That's going to be one of the biggest things Rise has here going into map number 3.
Now here we go. Early on into this wench fight, Yachty bouncing around. You see Rushiez trying to push up to get the one shot down. He's going to get taken out, but the trades will come through for Rise right now. It's a 3v2 on the map. Shot over the cover will help get a little bit of damage. Icy with the back A will solidify the down. They can't move into that B hill just yet. Here comes Scavzy pushing across. He can't move into the position to get Lancered out. He's going to be a little red. Franchis still playing up, still playing into that B hill. They're going to go for this cap, and if I'm Franchis, I try to get the hell out of Dodge with my life intact. Scavzy is going to move up. Wench will be in control of Rise. They get it down here, but immediately Yachty in the area to get that revive off Pell. He's going to pressure up this player on Wench. Icy is going to have to check Pell. Avexys gets the down. This could open up the triple cap domination. Full red, though. He's going to get his health back a little bit. Double shot Lancer coming out. Pell's going to try to push up with his Nasher out. 2 shots, gets the meat shield out. But Icy on the flank will finish off the kills, solidify the hills. Rise, strike first in map number 3.
One of the next things I wanted to point out, Colin, I didn't want to sound like too much of an idiot, is which formation, where everybody is playing on the side of Rise. I know I was one of the, I don't want to say few people, but one of the people preaching, put Rushiez front spawn, get him in the fight. I know we were talking about a few weeks ago, you know, the possibility of Drake subbing in. I know they made some changes to their Harbor gang with the possible anticipation of Drake's, possibly some changes to the overall team. They decided to put Franchis down low and put Rushiez in towards the fight. And honestly, I've seen some successful things happen, a lot of multi-kills coming out of Rushiez, and this is what I want to see them continue to do. Allow Rushiez to play into his strength, allow him to be that front spot, tip of the spear, get those quick initial kills, and allow the rest of the team to set up from there. So this is going to be another one of those rounds where Icy is going to play facilitator, going towards up top, trying to get the flank shots down onto Cellz. He gets the early elimination. That's going to make this a little bit easier, especially with the aggressive shotguns of Rushiez and Avexys to solidify those eliminations as well on the bottom half. So 3 players dead from Team Queso to start this one off, and Icy already wanting this triple cap domination.
Well, you see him hunt down toward the B hill. Scavzy's going to play back onto that corner. Now you see them trying to push up, and look at the way that Rushiez is approaching Scavzy. He knows he's got shots from Avexys over the top, so Scavzy's going to get that first shot off, but any damage that Avexys was able to do would help Rushiez get the single shot down. I love the way they're playing together here on a map 3, and you see Franchis playing back toward Avexys. He says, look, we've lost one player at the backside of the C hill. We're going to slide Rushiez in to try to get this triple cap off. He's going to go for the Mr. Krabs play right here. He's going to have one player coming off a spawn. He's going to get choked out though in a minute. He gets the one-shot kill! He gets the one-shot kill! Rushiez! Oh my God, I've knocked something off of my desk because I'm losing my absolute mind over the fact that Rise has done what you said. I don't know if they're listening to you. I don't even know if they hired you as a coach in a back alley deal somewhere, but my God, PR, putting Rushiez into the fight has paid off dividends early on this Harbor.
Yeah, I've said it week after week, Colin. It's not anything against anybody else on that roster of Rise. It's more of playing into your strengths as an individual, playing into your strengths as a team. We know Harbor is a very aggressive map. It gets in your face. And why not have a player who feeds off of it, who was molded into that darkness? He's a player that came up from the underground, shotguns only. I don't remember his first team, but I know he's a part of that Mutiny roster back in Gears of War Ultimate Edition that was really making waves against some of these top teams, and it was due to their aggression. And here goes that split fight you were talking about. The end bar in towards the middle. Icy is going to be the player in his hands to get that end bar and gets out alive thanks to Avexys. But look at players are going down. Rushiez goes down. Franchis goes down. Avexys trying to be the hero, trying to save Franchis, but he ends up going down if this Lancer fire continues. But no, he figured out a way to gain his health. Big shot fired, but in the end, Yachty will be the last one laughing.
You see them rotating around. Icy's going to get this back A off, trying to get this damage, goes to the up A, gets the easy shot down and kill as the misroll comes out.
Try next time.
And now you see Icy pushing up toward that top stern area. The Boltok shot misses. It slides by Icy's head. And if this was the Old West, my man would be feeling pretty good about his chances in life as he dodges one bullet. Now they're going to try to pressure up on Appel. Icy's going to get rotated on from behind, slides into this fight very casually. 1v1 against Scavzy, goes to the up A, gets a little bit of a damage onto him, but not enough to really threaten that kill. And now Rushiez going to try to come in. The trade out comes through. Rushiez going to continue to pressure up here. Cellz throws out that flashbang. He's going to get downed, and you see Avexys is going to bleed him out for just a moment. They hear the call out. Pell's back off the spawn. The decap at the home hill is about to come through, and Rise is going to go for a home-to-home split here, as Avexys might be caught between a rock and a hard place. He has to skedaddle. If I'm him, I'm staying alive. Just play back. Force them to make the mistake here. Force them to play into the hill. Rushiez tries to slide up, get the one-shot kill. Won't be able to get this one, and now Avexys has to worry about 3 different players in the area, and you see Icy trying to move up to help him, but Team Queso has played back enough in this one to really play defense.
Biting off more than they can chew, like a parent hitting their kid when they're talking with their mouths full. This is exactly what you not want to do with Rise. I honestly thought they were going to try to overextend, keep the hill decapped, and bonus get the capture and back off, but they tried to overstay and overstayed their welcome. They did, and they're paying the price in the end. Scavzy gets one along with the help of Pell. Everybody is set up to get these eliminations. 4 players dead on the side of Rise. What was looking like a triple cap domination, a perfect setup for Rise. A 3rd round win has been toss turned upside down on the side of Team Queso in a matter of seconds, a blink of an eye. They dominate that round with the right moves, and that's why I always say, you know your win condition. You have to know what you want to do when you're reaching your opponent's home hill. Otherwise, that will happen.
That is a beautiful round by Queso to come back off of that. I mean, being pressured all the way into your own spawn and still coming away with the round win. It starts with the fall by Rushiez as he tries to go for that one shot down. Not going to be able to get it. There's the shot grenade placed out by Rise over that M-bar, and I honestly think this is going to really set up well for them, because I think you throw that shock early onto the winch and try to control that area, control that fight. If you can get it to land where those players can't sit in that cubby and they have to be forced out into you, you could really control that fight and force your opponents to make a move early. And you can see everybody trying to get into the area, but I don't see anything getting thrown just yet, anything really getting threatened here. They get the first down, and Rise will come away with a 4v3 advantage as Cellz is up top, waiting for somebody to come into the fight. He gets one, and the misroll out from Rushiez. He gets 2. That will shut down the early advantage from Rise. And just over-aggression comes back to bite you in the butt sometimes, as Franchis now finds himself in a 2v1, playing back as long as he can, trying to get any damage to come out onto Yachty, but that's not going to be enough, and we are in the last round of the first half, and Team Queso could easily tie this thing back up.
Great target selection from Rise. They realized they weren't going to be able to get that elimination onto the player in the neutral. They were in close proximity. A revive was certain. They switched their target on over to the M-bar. Now Yachty using that down as a distraction to get the M-bar himself. Team Queso are setting up to go into the half at a tie ball game, but this is barely the early portion still, Colin. There's still a lot left in this round. You see the aggression coming through from Rush. He's trying to get this positioning. M-bar over the top, unable to charge up long enough to connect with anything, but the flank is still going to be there for Yachty. It's like shooting fish in a barrel here between these 2 players, but the damage, the numbers are going to be on favor of Rise, and they get that M-bar out of the game, which is huge.
And you see the 1v1 is going to get pressured up. Icy's going to have to try to take this against Scavzy. Full red is Scavzy. He pulls back into the B hill, but Rushiez on the flank will get the down, and now Icy will finish the kill. A little bit of love out from Rise, maybe a little early. Avexys trying to pop the corner and shot. He gets a couple of shots on his Cellz, finally gets that down. He's going to get Lancered out. No help over the top just yet for Avexys will come through. Rushiez gets into the fight. He's going to get shot from behind, but the trade comes out. The trade will get them the round win, I believe. I don't think there's enough time. He's going to have to take this corner in the up A. He won't be able to get there. 3-1 Rise. They are 2 rounds away from a win over Team Queso.
And that's what you do. You spread the numbers out. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be Team Queso putting that M-bar down, Colin. You said it was going to be Rise. I kind of believed it and agreed with you in that aspect because it opens up the map. It forces an open strategy. You can't go all out aggressive with the shotgun. So for Team Queso to be the team to throw that down there, in my opinion, it throws a wrench into their own play style. But luckily for them, they do have Cellz, they do have Pells, so it's not out just yet. You have come back from situations like this before. You're going to get the shot grenade on your side as well. So slowly but surely building up your defenses, but you have to figure out a way to throw some depth in your strategy because Rise isn't going to give you that front-facing fight anymore.
And I think that's one of the things we've got to be able to really see from both of these squads. Smokes out by everybody, clouding up all the judgment. Avexys trying to bait out that up A. He's trying to get that first shot on and that kill maybe. 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor of Rise right now. 1v1 at that stern is still breaking out. Avexys trying to get shots across, and Rise has won the 1v1 up top. Now Rushiez can wait back. He's going to probably overextend here. I don't know if he knows that Cellz is behind him. Rushiez is going across enemy lines to pressure out the opponent's home hill, but he's going to get a couple of shots put on him from up top. I don't know if you can really pressure this. I think you need to get Avexys in the area first. Rushiez is waiting, but I don't know if that's going to even be too long. There's Avexys with the M-bar. It's one. He's full red. I don't know if he has a snub out. He doesn't need it. He's going to have some help, and he's going to have that M-bar up top. He's going to have a teammate with him, and it's going to be a 3v2 on the other side of the, on this side of the map, excuse me, top stern. Avexys just egoing the challenge right now, just staying up and staying out of cover, trying to find somebody with an easy headshot. Ends up going down, but the teammates are there. Ices will have the back of both members of Rise. They will continue to hold court here, and they will continue to have the advantage here as it is a 2v2, but I believe Queso has to play uphill. 19 shots in the chamber for Avexys, taking this 1v, putting some damage out onto a Scavzy at first. Now here comes the double push from Queso PR.
That's a big elimination to come through. If they find it on Avexys, he does have some M-bars left. Getting over aggressive is going to be Scavzy, but he gets traded out by Icy. Franchis doing what he can. Got left by his lonesome. He saw Avexys retreat in there. He tries to go for a hero play, and he pays for it in the end. Luckily for Rushiez, he's going to find that first one. Can't overextend too soon. He knows Scavzy coming off of respawn, so he's just buying his team some time right now, Colin. Let these players come off of respawn, and they know they're going to try to make a play up top for that neutral. And down low, Rushiez is trying to overextend. He's not going to overextend in terms of getting onto that home hill, but he's making sure his presence is known. So that way, anybody on the map has to have it in the back of their head. Do I look at Rushiez? What do I worry about? Making the decision even clear. Big shots coming out, but firing back is Avexys to take out Pell. This is the later portion of this round. This is a big opportunity from Rise to go on match point.
You see Cellz trying to lance her down toward Rushiez. Rushiez has the 1v1 spot now. They've actually flipped him over there. He's been very proficient in his 1v1s in this map. He's won a lot of them to help put Rise in position. Down to 10 seconds. They're going to have to fly. All of Team Queso is going to have to get into the hills. Franchis is going to get walked up on from Cellz. 5 seconds left. Now down to just 3. It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be in time. Rise finds themselves up 4-1. They are 1 round away from a comeback victory over Team Queso. And I don't know what Team Queso's answer is. I don't know what the difference maker can be because Rise has played this map 3 damn near perfectly. Franchis, only 3 kills to his name, but 10 assists and 11 assists for the top 2 players on the side of Rise. I believe it was Avexys and Icy there, and Rushiez just doing Rushy things.
I think it's that joke you made earlier, honestly.
Uh-oh.
It's the nacho cheese joke. It's the nacho. They might be Team Queso, but Rise right now is like, that's nacho cheese right now. That's hard. They're going for a match win bonus. They just want to solidify it. And honestly, I talked about controlling your own destiny. That's exactly what Rise wants to do. They want to be in control, not face relegation. Use these last couple of Pro League matches as practice for that major. Like we said, for the first time ever, these matches on the Pro League will be played the same week during that major. So everything is definitely going to be on the line. You see Rushiez getting that stern almost uncontested. Everybody from Team Queso maneuvering towards up top. The M-bar is going to be hands of Yachty, but Cellz, Scavzy, everybody from Team Queso is going to fall.
Franchis won 1v. If he'd got the second shot and won 2 different 1vs, I'd have lost my ever-loving mind out here. You'd have heard me scream like a 15-year-old at a One Direction concert. Yachty trying to get this M-bar shot, doesn't find it. Triple cap domination. Rise to the occasion, and they heat Team Queso up and they melt away before our eyes. In map number 3, Avexys hitting him with the finger pistols. He said, boy, let me see you wiggle one time for me. Whoo, it was on fire from start to finish. And Rise with a beautiful win here in game number 1. Thank the good Lord above. Taylor is not too up on us right now.
I definitely needed that. My roulette strategy, Colin, pays off. I don't care how many times Red shows up there. Rise has to win one eventually. And I talked about it, to controlling your own destiny. A big test against Team Queso. You have, what, maybe 3 more matches, 4 more matches, maybe, as you go into that online major. This is some of the best practice you will get. And even though it's not even practice, these are live matches. You have to prepare to put everything on the line in that online major. The prize pool is going to be out of this world. You're going to have a chance to deepen your pockets and go home happy, or at least stay home happy.
Somewhere my man Ace Dolo has got on the white New Balances, freshly cut lawn outside. My man's probably got some ribs on the smoker, and he's saying, we are going to smoke Team Queso in this map, and he's probably feeling like an absolute genius and feeling oh so good for the org. He helps rep along with these 4 players in Rushiez, Avexys, Icy, and Fran. And early on in this one, we're going to see a lot of team fire plays come out from Rise, and it never slowed up. The rotations, the flanks, every single fight from Rise was damn near played to perfection. They played so much closer together. They played so much more like a unit. I know we continue to say that that torque bow, man, my God. We know we continue to say that the Achilles heel of Rise is that they start slow. Well, sometimes it don't matter if you a fat kid out of the blocks. If you can make it over the hurdle, you can make it over the hurdle into the finish line, baby. Look at that, 5-2 in map 1, and then they answer back 5-3, and then they catch absolute fire like this was NBA game breaker status. They got it 5-1 in map 3.
Now, I'm going to have a talk with Cellz, anybody on Team Queso. Figure out what was the real strategy in that one. Like I said, during the match, like we said before the match, we really thought Rise was going to be the one to put that weapon down center line, spread out the map so that way they can use their strength, use their strategy, use their depth in their knowledge of Gears of War to their favor. But instead, it's Team Queso who put that end bar down. And honestly, I think it was that point right there. Once the numbers are spread out on the initial, Rise was kind of able to take over. And that's where you got to think twice. You got to figure out what works for you guys and go all the way. I'm not going to say the shining light is Rushiez in front spawn, but man, I love to see that sight on the side of Rise. Just like Ace, still, I got a big smile on my face. My prediction was correct.